RAF base which played a pivotal role in the Battle of Britain.
We are here throughout Remembrance Week, celebrating courage, honouring heroes and remembering those who didn't return home.
Week I'm exploring some of the treasures here. On today's programme, the Battle of Britain. Welcome to the Imperial War Museum, Duxford. This site was an RAF airbase from 1918 until 1961, and now it's home to thousands of exhibits from all periods of warfare, from this Lancaster bomber next to me to a Battle of Britain operations room and even a Polaris nuclear missile.
During World War II, the runways here were packed with Battle of Britain pilots taken to the skies in the fight for air superiority. It was a battle that changed the course of history, and someone who's passionate about that period joins us today.
John Sargent, welcome to Duxford. Incredible to think what was going on here during World War II. Why is it, do you think, 75 years later, the Battle of Britain still captures our imaginations?
I think it was because we really did stand alone. The Germans had knocked out France, they controlled most of the continent, and really it was a question of, would the Brits fight, and how would they fight? And the answer was emphatic, that we would put all the young men into the skies, and they would fight brilliantly with a new Prime Minister urging them on and urging the country on after the humiliation of Dunkirk. So the timing and the importance of this battle, well, you really can't exaggerate it. It was just so critical. And once it had happened, the Germans knew that they couldn't invade Britain without a hell of a fight, which they knew they couldn't win at that stage.
It was definitely one of those times where there's that great defeat followed almost instantly by the underdog fighting back and winning.
That's right, and that's what makes it so exciting in retrospect, but also so impressive, because as you know, as a military man, everything depends on the quality of the fighting men and the women who were involved at that point. Will they fight? And how hard will they fight? And of course, if they do it courageously, the controls are allowed to fly it by the pilot. So that was one of the greatest moments, I suppose, well, of my life.
What did it feel like?
It was so exciting, and it was so like the planes I used to fly when I was learning to fly as an RAF cadet. And I went straight back to that.
You've been flying for a long time then?
I was trained under a flying scholarship scheme as a cadet, because they were so worried about what happened in 1940 that if it happened again, they would have to train the young pilots in the 1950s. So although I'd failed my driving test the day before, I set off for a month-long training in biplanes, converted Tiger Moths at Thruxton, and to get my private pilot's licence, which I did. They
wouldn't let you on the roads, but they let you in the skies.
Clearly, flying planes in the Battle of Britain especially is a real passion of yours. Have you ever met any of the heroes of the Battle of Britain?
Yes, I've met a few of them, and of course they do make the rest of us feel sort of small and pointless, don't they? I mean, these are great characters, but they also, anyone who's risked their lives in that way, you feel it's an aura around them which you can't take away, and you don't want to take it away from them. You want to just think, you know, you are a hero, and how wonderful.
Some of these guys effectively became celebrities during the war.
Yes, I mean, that's the bit that people sort of forget, how important it was for the government and for Churchill to laud all their exploits. Because if people could see what these young men were doing, it would inspire them in all kinds of ways during the Blitz and the bombing. You've got to sort of see that in the context of when you've got the possibility of a hero, play up to them, let the newspaper people interview them.
Douglas Bader being one of the heroes.
Yes. And Douglas Bader, who was in this base, first of all, was his first base. He was over the evacuation from Dunkirk in a Spitfire. He came here trained in Spitfires. He had no legs, for goodness sake. So what a fantastic person to then make a squadron leader. And then, when he was shot down, he collided with a plane in France, and he was shot down, and he only got out of his plane because he could detach one of his legs, and so he could parachute. Well, that is what I've been a journalist all my working life. That is just gold dust, isn't it?
And it wasn't just British pilots flying in the Battle of Britain, was it?
No, that's also the rather exciting thing, that they came from all the old Commonwealth countries, but they came also from France and from Poland that had been taken over. They were people with intense feelings for what they were doing, and they didn't want to let their countries down. It gives a sort of impression of young people so proud of the fact that they could do something.
We're going to hear more from you, John, later on. But of course, this year marks the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Britain. In the summer of 1940, with the imminent threat of attack from Germany, Prime Minister Winston Churchill was determined we wouldn't be defeated. He rallied the nation with one of the most powerful weapons in his armoury: words.
On the 18th of June, Churchill delivered a speech to galvanise the nation for the brutal battle ahead, read today by veterans who took part in the war effort.